In the world of automobiles, speed can be engineered and power can be calculated, but elegance cannot be forced. Elegance is something earned through struggle, failure, and obsession. Aston Martin was never created to dominate roads with numbers or to flood the market with machines. It was born from a belief that a car should feel like art, and that belief would follow the company like both a blessing and a curse. Aston Martin began in 1913, founded by Lionel Martin and Robert Bamford, two men driven more by passion than business sense. They wanted to build cars that were fast yet refined, cars that carried personality rather than practicality. From the very start, the company faced problems it was never prepared for. War halted production, money ran dry, and progress moved painfully slowly. While other manufacturers focused on survival through scale, Aston Martin focused on perfection, even when perfection was the most expensive choice possible. The following decades were filled with instability. Ownership changed hands repeatedly, financial crises became familiar, and bankruptcy loomed more than once. Aston Martin was admired by enthusiasts, but avoided by investors. It was a brand people loved emotionally, yet feared financially. Despite this, the company refused to compromise its identity. It continued building cars with craftsmanship and character, even when it meant producing fewer vehicles and earning less profit. In the 1950s, Aston Martin turned to racing not just to win trophies, but to prove that beauty and performance could coexist. That belief reached its peak in 1959 when Aston Martin won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It was a historic achievement and a defining moment. Yet it did not bring financial security. Victory brought prestige, not stability, and the company soon returned to its familiar struggle of surviving on admiration alone. Everything changed when Aston Martin appeared on the silver screen. The introduction of the DB5 in James Bond films transformed the car into a cultural icon. Aston Martin became a symbol of quiet confidence, intelligence, and sophistication. It was not loud or aggressive. It was composed and deadly in its elegance. This association gave the brand global recognition, but fame did not fix its fragile foundation. You do not buy an Aston Martin because it is the easiest choice. You buy it because, for a moment, it connects you to something human. And that is why, after more than a century of struggle, Aston Martin is still here. Not because it never failed, but because it never stopped believing that a car could be more than metal. Even as the world desired Aston Martin, the company continued to walk on thin financial ice. Through the decades that followed, Aston Martin lived through constant reinvention. Different owners tried different strategies, yet the core problem remained the same. Mass production could save the company, but mass production would also destroy its soul. Every Aston Martin continued to be handcrafted, carefully shaped, and emotionally designed. This commitment made the cars special, but it also kept the company vulnerable. In the modern era, Aston Martin attempted to evolve while protecting its heritage. New models, technological upgrades, and a return to Formula One signaled ambition and hope. Yet once again, rapid expansion brought financial pressure. To many observers, it appeared that Aston Martin never learned from its past. In reality, it was simply unwilling to sacrifice emotion for efficiency. Today, Aston Martin survives not because it is the strongest or the smartest company, but because it stands for something rare. It exists for people who value feeling over logic, craftsmanship over convenience, and identity over mass appeal. Aston Martin remains a brand constantly balancing art and survival, legacy and relevance, passion and profit.